KWQC-TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities.
You're watching KWQC-TV6 Davenport, making a difference for 75 years. Live from the Quad Cities' #1 station for news, this is KWQC-TV6 Quad Cities Today.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for waking up with us today here in Quad Cities Today. I'm Kyle Bales.
And I'm Marcia Lenz, and it is Friday. We made it through the week. I'm really just starting to get my stride now, you know, and then the weekend's here. We're going to mess up our routine,
reset it
right?
again. And yeah, that's how it works, and then Monday comes around so dang fast.
Hopefully wake up on time on Monday.
Yeah.
And you know what? The weather's going to cooperate for the most part here from today through the weekend, but there's going to be a couple raindrops here and there, but not enough to kind of ruin anything. So as you head out here early on, you got mostly cloudy skies right now.
You're watching KWQC-TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities.
You're watching KWQC-TV6 Davenport, making a difference for 75 years. Live from the Quad Cities' #1 station for news, this is KWQC-TV6 Quad Cities Today at 11.
First at 11, tens of thousands of Boeing workers went on strike this morning as the company continues to face obstacles. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Bales. The walkouts follow a union vote last night when an overwhelming number of members rejected a new contract proposal. Tom Costello has more on this latest blow to an already struggling company.
For a company already in trouble, this is a big blow.
You're watching KWQC-TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities.
Now on TV6 News.
Will there be a round 2 following Tuesday's highly contested debate? Questions are surrounding the presidential candidates, whether or not they will go toe-to-toe for a second time. And a celebration of Hispanic heritage. Later on, we take a look at the events being held this weekend around the Quad Cities that embrace the life and culture of Latin America. And our weather is turning out to be pretty nice here today. Might see an isolated shower or two as we see an increase in clouds right now. But how's the weekend shaping up? We'll take a look coming up in your first alert forecast. Your news at noon starts now.
You're watching KWQC-TV6 Davenport, making a difference for 75 years. Live from the Quad Cities' #1 station for news, this is KWQC-TV6 News at noon.
First alert weather tops your news at noon as we are entering a weekend with lots of outdoor events, starting tonight with some Friday night football. If you're headed out, you'll likely want to know whether or not you need the umbrella because we haven't needed it the last several days with these dry conditions. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Kyle Keel filling in for Marcia. Our temperatures are quite mild here today, but our warm-up is a little slower than what it was yesterday due to the fact that we do have a little more cloud cover, as you saw there on Skyview. Still sitting very comfortable, 74 in Moline, 73 in Burlington. Meanwhile, 76 in Muscatine in Burlington. Or I should say Muscatine.
You're watching KWQC-TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities.
Now on TV6 News.
This year's Iowa ballot will have a question of whether or not to retain certain Iowa Supreme Court justices. Most voters might not give it much thought, but could the abortion law change that? And there are nearly 100 new U.S. citizens in the Quad Cities tonight. We'll hear from one who says she has been waiting for this day to come.
And it's Friday, and that means it's football. Our spotlight game takes us to North Scott, where Assumption will be battling the Lancers. We'll have a live report coming up here in a few minutes.
You're watching KWQC-TV6 Davenport, making a difference for 75 years. Live from the Quad Cities' #1 station for news, this is KWQC-TV6 News at 5.
And we've made it to Friday, and after a beautiful week of weather, we're hoping it'll stay the same way for the weekend. Let's join meteorologist Kyle Dickens in our weather center with more on that. And of course, a lot of people heading out to those football games tonight, Kyle, and then weekend plans outdoors. So what do you got for us?
How about a little rain? Does that sound good? No, I don't think
I mean, like we need rain, but let's make it rain at night or something.
Yes, exactly. Well, that chance is there for a few spotty showers, as you alluded to. We are noticing a little bit of change in our weather thanks to some cloud cover, all from Francine, actually. This is all some remnants of that. 79 degrees.
You're watching KWQC-TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities.
Now on TV6 News.
They've traveled the world to live right here in the Quad Cities, and now they're officially Americans. Hear their inspiring stories in just a moment.
Iowa voters will have to decide whether or not to retain one of the state's Supreme Court justices on Election Day. Could the Iowa abortion law play a role in his tenure on the court?
Plus, we'll hear from one of the state's top basketball recruits about his career and why one team is hoping to have him. Your news at 6 starts now.
You're watching KWQC TV6 Davenport, making a difference for 75 years. Live from the Quad Cities' #1 station for news, this is KWQC TV6 News at 6.
Well, a day of celebration in Rock Island. Good evening. I'm William Ingalls.
And I'm Sharon DeRick. We welcome 93 new Americans to the Quad Cities as they took their oath of allegiance at today's naturalization ceremony.
Yeah, each of them has an amazing story of coming to a brand new country, all with a dream to make it big in America.
And for one man, that's exactly what happened. He came to the United States to play America's pastime, baseball for the River Bandits right here in the Quad Cities. And after 8 years, he decided to officially become an American, which he says will open him up to even more possibilities.
This is going to be the first time that I'm going to vote.
You're watching KWQC-TV, making a difference in the Quad Cities.
You're watching KWQC TV6 Davenport, making a difference for 75 years. Live from the Quad Cities' #1 station for news, this is KWQC TV6 News at 10.
A project that would transform downtown Davenport's riverfront is gaining momentum after years of planning. Good evening, I'm William Ingalls. TV6's Haley Ryan spoke to city leaders about the project and what they hope it does for the city. Haley.
Downtown Davenport's riverfront could soon become a recreation destination. Wednesday, the City Council approved plans for the Main Street Landing project, allowing the city to start receiving bids.